Chapter 21, My Teacher is an Alien. It's the final chapter, starts on page 136. Chapter 21, Out of This World. I thought it was over, but I was wrong. Roxanne was still crouched against the wall, about 2 feet from the doors to the outside. The rest of us were about 10 feet away from him, staring in horror at his strange alien features. Suddenly, the door to the left of Roxanne opened. It was Peter. He must have run out the front door and circled around. "Roxanne!" he shouted. "This way, run!" The alien jumped to his feet and took off as if he had rocket-powered roller skates. As soon as he was through the door, Peter slammed it shut. The rest of us started to run too. Then Roxanne pulled something that looked like a thick pencil out of his pocket. He pointed it at the doors, and they fried them shut. I started to tremble. He could have pointed that thing at me if he'd really wanted to. He probably could have melted my piccolo to my lips. Maybe old Roxanne wasn't so bad after all, I thought, as I stood with my face pressed against the window, watching the alien and my best friend disappear into the night. My best friend? Wait, I thought in surprise. But I knew it was true. Peter was my best friend. Now he was gone. Someone had called the police, and pretty soon their cruisers came screeching into the schoolyard. My mother was flapping her hands, worrying that I might have had some alien disease. With all the yelling and shouting, it took the police a while to figure things out. But soon they put me in a patrol car, and we hightailed it to Roxanne's place. We were only a block from his house when we heard a roar, followed by a high whine. Then this beautiful, huge, silvery sphere with a lot of lights spinning around, lifted into the air ahead of us. "Stop the car!" I said. I don't know why, but they did. Probably because the ship was so amazing. I pushed my way past the policeman on my right and stood in the road, watching the ship rise on a column of purple light into the black night. "Goodbye, Peter," I whispered. "Have a good trip." I felt as if something hard had become stuck in my throat as I watched the ship soar higher and higher until it was lost among the twinkling of the stars. The police sealed off the house just in case there were any aliens left inside. When they finally decided it was safe, I took them to see where Miss Schwartz had been held prisoner. I was afraid Roxanne might have taken her along, but when we climbed up into the attic, we found her sitting there on the floor, saying, This is the worst headache I've ever had." "Miss Schwartz!" I cried. I ran to her. She held out her arms, and I fell into them. The two of us cried for a long time, which I think kind of confused the policeman. The rest of the house was empty, except for a note from Peter we found stuck to the refrigerator door. He asked us not to worry and said that he would probably come back again someday. And that was that. Things are back to normal now. At least, as normal as they ever get around here. Duncan has been picking on everyone he can. Mike and Stacy have regained their angelic reputations. Though to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to get into a little mischief now and then, just for the fun of it.
I didn't understand that.
That was weird. Though to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to get into a little mischief now and then, just for the fun of it. As for me, I'm doing fine, except for when I play my piccolo. That's when I think of Peter. Sometimes I go outside at night to look at the stars. I try not to think about how far away Peter is. I only remember how much he wanted to go there. I do wonder where he is, and if he's seeing all the wonderful things he used to imagine when he was reading those crazy science fiction novels. Of course, I never really wish I'd gone with him. After all, I've got my family that loves me, and I like my life here on Earth. But sometimes I wonder, what would it be like to travel the stars with an alien? Or maybe with Earthlings? I've been studying my math pretty hard lately, and I've kind of changed my mind about being an actress. I think maybe I'll be a scientist when I grow up. I'd like to invent a ship that could take us right out of the solar system, out to explore all those distant stars that fill the night sky. Worlds where we would be the mysterious aliens. Wouldn't that be something? The end. We just finished our last chapter of My Teacher's an Alien. What do you guys think? Was it a good book? I'm a fan.